As small children, we lack discretion. There's nothing left unsaid. But as we age and our innocence fades, our walls go up and our lips fall silent. For some, though, it's not our lips that say what needs to be said, but our actions. I know this is true for myself, and that it is a beautiful trait passed on to me through my great-grandmother, my grandmother, and my mother.
My name is Alice Turno. It was Alice Webb Turno. And I was born in Montana, but my folks didn't live there. They were working up there when they was probably a year old. They moved back to South Dakota, near Murdo, South Dakota, Jones County. And I grew up and lived right there for 85 years. I think you could become more in love the longer we were together, I think. There was quite a difference in our ages, but I think the more you settle down and get to know each other, the better. How old I was when I got married? I was 16 and a half, and we went on a honeymoon down where his folks all lived, and then they had a big party for us. Everybody came and looked me over. That was the hardest part, I think I felt. But thinking of it is, I loved them all, and they seemed to love me too, so I gained a real good family.
Sometimes you just sit there, looking out the window. I know you love to watch the birds, but what are you thinking about? You have 101 years of knowledge, memories, questions, answers, feelings, all in your mind. But what about your dreams or your wishes? I'm at the age where everyone is constantly asking me questions about my future plans. But what is it about when you get older? It's as if society assumes that you no longer have these dreams, or that you're just irrelevant. So, what would you wish for? I've thought about how I think you would answer. You'd probably say something along the lines of, I wish that all my family would come to know Christ and be saved through the gift of his life. And that's beautiful, but I'm wondering what your selfish wish would be. Maybe to walk and run, or to see all the loved ones that you've had to say goodbye to, including your husband. Or would you want to be young again, creeping through a moonlit forest, or skinny dipping on a hot June night? I wonder, what are your desires? Have they changed as you've gotten older, or in your mind are you still young? But after thinking about it, I've decided not to ask you. I won't ask you your selfish wish, because what if that's the key to life? What if your selfish wish were one that could be accomplished, and when it had been, you didn't see the point in pushing on? So, while you look out the window watching birds, the soft yellow light filtering through your sheer curtains and caressing your face, I hope you are wishing. I hope you're still dreaming, and keep waiting, because maybe tomorrow will hold that granted gift.
What has been the hardest part about aging? I can't. I just don't know. Well, it's getting so you can't get around so fast, and you can't think as fast as you did, and I think that's about the worst part. I can't do a lot of the things we used to do. But otherwise, I don't feel any different, and it just seems natural to, just comes on natural. It's just a little bit, but we have to learn to slow down and accept it. I have enjoyed my later life much. I came to Tennessee and have a church family and a good family that loved me and take care of me, and I just couldn't ask for more. And I have grandchildren, and great-great-grandchildren, and even the great-great-great-grandchildren, and then I have seen most of them, and I'm just so proud of them all and so glad I lived long enough to see them. Most people don't. I think I've been really blessed. How many grandchildren I have? I have quite a few. I had 4 children and 16 grandchildren. And now I have 41 great-grandchildren and 30-some great-great-grandchildren and 1 great-great-great-daughter. 2 of them are named after me.
Today, while we were baking, I was wondering, have you ever had a broken heart? You were married at 16, so did you date or court? And if you've never had a broken heart by a boy, then who did it? Who was the first person to break your heart? Through most of my life, I've seen you as the epitome of strength. So, have you ever had one of those moments when you're laying in bed at 2 a.m. and tears are streaming down your face because your heart just aches? You talk about death so casually, even your husband. But was it casual at the time? Were you able to cope with it easily? Did you keep it all together? To me, you seem like a together person. Death is seen as sad, but a true part of life. It's fleeting and forgivable. But you've never come off as being bitter about death. As I watched the sun sink behind the ridge at my house, I thought, maybe you're okay with heartbreak and death because you're not afraid. The only reason getting your heart broken hurts is because your trust has been broken, and you're afraid that you'll be alone and misunderstood, forgotten or judged. To you, I think death is a sunset. The sun goes down in a magnificent display, fading into blackness. But you know that feeling when you're on top of a mountain and you watch the sun go down and a beautiful, serene darkness blankets you, dripping down from the leaves and branches of the trees. You feel at peace and awe. That's how you see death, because you know that in the morning it won't be dark anymore. You aren't afraid of death because it's something you can count on. I guess some people would probably find that sad or depressing, but I think it's amazing. Not everyone possesses the ability to see death and heartbreak as a process, a small phase in the landscape of life.
No, that's okay.
Sure?
Yeah, it just has to beat a little bit. It just,
Okay. There you go.
I wouldn't want to beat egg whites for angel food this way.
You did it by hand, though, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, I did. Turned the egg beater by hand.
Yep, and you had to sift that flour 3 times, I know.
This makes it brown nice. Did my mom teach me how to cook? Well, she didn't really try to teach me, but I learned a lot from her. She could, somebody would come and I went to wonder what in the world she would fix for dinner. And she'd cook up some macaroni and she'd have a real good dinner, and I couldn't see anything to cook if I'd have had to cook. And she made the best pies, and I guess I took after her in that. And she was a good cook, but I helped my dad outside more than I worked in the house. My job was always washing the separator. Not many people get to do that, but a daily chore, and it was heavy too to carry. About the hotel when I lived there. Well, my dad and my sister and brother and sister-in-law bought an old hotel. My brother had run the hotel, so he thought somebody should buy Bob's half of the hotel, and Bob could go out on the farm. So he kept talking to us, and we finally did. It wasn't a real good investment, but one time we went in to make a bed, and there was a carnival someplace, and they rode up on a motorcycle, a man and a woman, and there was a note under the pillow, and it says, "Help me." And she said, "He's holding me." And, well, was that a joke or what? So we decided we better call somebody, and we did. And sure enough, that he'd kidnapped her from somewhere, and then was taking her around to the rodeos and stuff. Can't take a while.
Yeah, I think you used to do it a lot faster.
Oh my goodness. My hands don't work, and my eyes won't work. My head don't work, and I'm out of shape. And we started working as soon as we was able to carry a pail, and always gathered eggs, and I don't know how old I was when I started to milk cows, because my dad would always come along and strip them, but we milked what we could out of them, and fed a bunch of cats, and then we had to feed the calves after we got through milking, and what was left, us kids carried out to feed it to the pigs. And sometimes it would be so cold when we'd go out to feed the calves, we'd kind of lay down among the cattle and get warmed up.
And how much water do you want over them?
I wanted to bite.
Well, take a bite.
I can't get a hold of it. Isn't that the bunk? Yeah. I got it.
Yeah.
Did it get one?
You did.
Mm. There you go.
There you go. Now how much water?
Oh, just a tish.
A tish?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how much is a tish? Tell me when a tish is. Oh, okay.
That's a tish. A little more.
A tish and a half.
Yeah. I'll put a little sugar in it.
Oh, okay.
Fourth of a cup at least.
Some bright morning when this life is o'er, I'll fly away to a home on God's celestial shore. I'll fly away, fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory. I'll fly away in the morning when I die. Hallelujah.
Well, when my religious background, I always liked to go to church with my aunt and uncle. My dad and uncle had been raised Adventists, but they married sisters, and then they didn't belong to any church till I was about 5 years old. I remember when they butchered the last pig, and and they didn't have a church there. So we went up to the Free Methodist Church once in a while to some of their prayer meetings. And then some preachers came out and held services in schoolhouses and things like that and places. And I got married and joined that church when I was about 17, 18. And then, it was so hard. My husband went to dances and stuff, and I finally kind of broke away for a while. But I always went to the Methodist. Some church, I just always liked to go to church. I got good out of every church I went to. And then when I was about 28, I was really sick, and I told the Lord, I prayed and prayed if I could live, to raise my 3 children, I'd give my heart to Him, and I did.
My mother made apple pie.
Apple bars.
Did your mother make apple pie, Polly?
It's just like apple.
Very often.
Very often.
Very often.
Did you? With a scoop of ice cream.
A scoop of ice cream. Okay.
That
sounds like her, doesn't it? Ice cream is good on anything.
How do I see death? Well, the older I get and I have more pain sometimes, I look forward to it. But I have enjoyed my life in these later years, but I don't fear death. I know that I won't be alone, and that the Lord will just, one of these days, will just come back, and where there won't be any more separations and everything. I look forward to it in that way. It isn't a sad time. It should be a happy time, because people get out of their suffering and rest a while and call to new life. It's something to look forward to. I'm not afraid of it at all. I'm anxious for it to come sometimes, and I pray that I'll be ready.
It seems like your whole life you've given to others. This year, on New Year's Eve, I was kissed by a stranger. It was thrilling, terrifying, and mostly magical. It was one of those moments that doesn't feel real. So between all the work that you've done over the years, where have been your magic moments? What made you feel alive or terrified in the best possible way? I know your answers would probably have been very different 50 years ago, but what would you have said then? In all your stories, I've never heard you talk about a rebellious stage. I've never heard a crazy, fun, spontaneous story, but I guess we all do have our secrets. I hope that you've had magical moments. You have a gift for making people feel amazing and only offering encouragement. It's not replicable by anyone. I don't believe in magic, really, but I believe that people have the ability to make one another feel magical. You have that ability. It's not a specific, singular quality either. It's a gift. It's something that is beautifully unattainable, but by those that are born with it.
It wasn't that I didn't want to hold your hand. I just knew if we held tight once, we would never let go. It wasn't that I didn't want to call you mine, but you're not mine. And it wasn't that you didn't make me happy, because my dear, you made me so happy. But the happiness that we shared wasn't meant for us as a pair. Oh no, oh